God gave me a soul that burned for freedom and a heart nerved with determination to suffer even unto death in pursuit of liberty. In this excerpt from a letter written by Harriet Jacobs to her friend, the abolitionist Amy Post, Jacobs expresses her determination to continue her quest for freedom. Dated October 9, 1853, less than 2 years after Jacobs was freed. The letter was written in response to Post's suggestion that Jacobs tell the story of her abuse and exploitation as an enslaved black woman. 8 years later, in 1861, the same year that marked the beginning of the Civil War, Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl, written by herself, was published in Boston. According to the chronology of Jacobs' life compiled by her biographer, Jean Fagan Yellen, the events described in Incidents narrated by Linda Brent mirror key incidents of Jacobs' life. Early years. Harriet Ann Jacobs was born at Edenton, North Carolina, in 1813 to Delilah, the daughter of Molly Horniblow, and Martha, the slave of Margaret Horniblow, and to Daniel Jacobs, a carpenter, the slave of Dr. Andrew Knox. When she was only 6 years old, Jacobs' mother died, and Jacobs was taken into the household of her mistress, Margaret Horniblow, who taught her to read, spell, and sew. When she was 12, Margaret Horniblow died and willed Harriet to her 5-year-old niece, Mary Matilda Norcom, Miss Emily. As a result, Harriet and her brother, John S. Jacobs, William, moved into the household of Dr. James Norcom, Dr. Flint. Shortly after Jacob's arrival to the Norcom house, her father dies. Feeling sad and alone, Jacob's life is made even more unbearable by Norcom's determination to make her his concubine. Desperate to escape Norcom, Jacobs entered into a sexual relationship with Samuel Treadwell Sawyer, Mr. Sands, at age 15, with whom she had 2 children, Joseph and Louisa Matilda, Ben and Ellen. Undaunted, Norcom continued to pursue Jacobs. When she repeatedly rejected his advances, he sent her to work on a plantation several miles from Edenton. Secure in the knowledge that her children are safe with her grandmother, Jacobs adjusts to plantation life. But when she learns that Norcom plans to send her children to the plantation, she runs away, hiding out at the homes of friends both black and white. Thinking she has escaped, Norcom sells Jacob's children and brother to a slave trader, unaware that he is acting on behalf of Sawyer, who allows them to return to Jacob's grandmother's house. Determined to be near her children, Jacob spends 7 years hiding in her grandmother's attic, where she passes the time sewing and reading the Bible. After the escape. Between 1838 and 1842, 3 events occurred that convinced Jacobs to escape. Sawyer took Louisa Matilda to Washington, D.C. to live with him and his new wife, Lavinia Peyton, and then sends her to his cousins in Brooklyn, New York. Jacob's brother John ran away from Sawyer, his master. Aunt Betty, Aunt Nancy, died, plunging her grandmother into near inconsolable grief at the loss of her daughter. Following her escape, Jacobs spent several years as a fugitive slave, alternately living in Boston and New York and supporting her children by working as a seamstress. In 1849, Jacobs moved to Rochester, New York, where she helped her brother run an anti-slavery reading room, office, and bookstore in the same building that also housed the offices of Frederick Douglass's newspaper, the North Star. In Yellen's introduction to her 1987 edition of Incidents, she notes that the breadth of the references to literature and current events in Incidents suggests that during her 18 months in Rochester, Jacobs read her way through the abolitionists' library of books and papers, which included the latest and best works on slavery and other moral questions. During this time, Jacobs also began working with a group of anti-slavery feminists, which led to her meeting with the abolitionist Amy Post. Post became one of her closest friends and encouraged her to publish her